There are 10 science-backed habits that you can start today that literally help you to feel and look younger than you actually are. Let's dive into it. My name's Autumn. I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's nutrition human performance. And today's video is sponsored by Element. More on them in a bit. Okay, so a lot of what we're covering today is based on a small pilot study, which implemented a variety of different lifestyle and dietary changes. And it found that when these factors were combined, the study participants' perceived age based on their DNA damage actually decreased by about 3 years. Now, obviously, there's flaws with that method of using a bunch of different strategies at once. You don't really know which is causing the benefit, but it can at least provide us a framework for future studies. Now, one thing that those researchers had the test group do is lower their overall carbohydrate intake and focus on lower glycemic index foods. They did this specifically to help balance blood sugar levels, which in turn could be protective for our DNA. It also helps that other studies have found that higher glycemic load diets contribute to reduced skin elasticity and just overall skin aging. Not to mention, eating higher glycemic load foods usually means you're eating more processed and sugary rich foods, which then can increase our insulin resistance. And insulin resistance has also been a huge factor in acne. Insulin resistance, when left unchecked, can lead to other skin issues like skin tags or the thickening of skin. Low carb and low glycemic load diets have been found to be helpful with insulin resistance. And to top all of that off, more stable blood sugar levels usually means that we have more stable energy levels too. Lower glycemic load foods would include things like various fruits and veggies. Now, if you want a full list of low glycemic load options, I have a blog post that I'll have linked directly down description below. Okay, the second thing is eating eggs and liver. This was used on those test subjects in the pilot study, and they specifically used it because eggs and liver are rich in nutrients like choline and vitamin A. They're actually literally pretty much like a multivitamin with how packed with nutrients these two foods are. Liver is also particularly high in iron, and iron is needed to help prevent anemia that could lead to low energy levels. Both of these foods are also rich in protein, which is a really important part for skin health as well. Okay, the third is fish oil. Now, this one wasn't actually included in that pilot study that we're talking about, but fish oil or even cod liver oil are both really rich in omega-3 fatty acids. And a 2020 review found that omega-3 fatty acids could be helpful for reducing acne or other skin conditions. It's also been noted that a deficiency in omega-3 could lead to drier, older appearing skin. So getting adequate amounts of omega-3 from foods like fish oil could be helpful for making the skin healthy as well. As a side note, fish oil has also been studied to specifically help target visceral fat and the reduction of weight gain around the belly. Okay, the fourth is intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting was also used in that pilot study, and they specifically added in intermittent fasting for the same reason they used a lower carb diet and a lower glycemic load diet, and that was to help improve the overall blood sugar level. Now, intermittent fasting also specifically helps to turn on something called autophagy, which literally helps to clean up old and dysfunctional cells. This process also helps to make way for new and more healthy cells, which this action can also occur within the cells in our skin. All of this cleaning up of old dysfunctional cells could also really help to increase energy levels as well. Now, I've personally been using intermittent fasting for so many years now. I think it's like 7 or 8 years at this point. I found it to be a really amazing tool. But one thing I always make sure to do when I'm intermittent fasting is make sure that I'm getting enough electrolytes. And I personally love using today's sponsor, Element. Element is an amazing electrolyte company that was specifically created with intermittent fasting and lower carb eating in mind. We tend to lose a lot of water and a lot of sodium during the fast. And when we're dehydrated, that's not gonna make us feel more energized. It's definitely not gonna make us feel great. So it's super important to make sure that we are getting hydrated as well as getting high quality electrolytes. And Element contains the sodium, the magnesium, the potassium to help replace those lost electrolytes. I also love that Element is zero sugar, making a great option from a weight loss perspective as well. And I noticed a significant difference in my energy levels, especially the afternoon, when I'm properly hydrated with both water and Element. But also right now, for a limited time, they have their new chocolate flavors. They have their chocolate mint, chocolate chai, and chocolate raspberry. Just the other day, I tested out the chocolate chai one. Oh my gosh, so good. Each of these chocolate options were intended to be had with hot water. So it's such a great replacement to those really sugary, chocolatey drinks. And you can even get your electrolytes in while you're in the process. And right now, Element is offering my viewers a free sample pack with any order. That's 8 single serve packets free with any Element order. This is a really great way to test out all 8 flavors. So you can get yours at drinkelement.com/autumn. This is only available through my link. So make sure to check out drinklmnt.com/autumn. The link will also be in the description down below. Okay, the fifth thing they did in that pilot study was specifically add in foods that help protect the DNA. Now, there's certain compounds in certain types of food like curcumin in turmeric, or EGCG in green tea, or folate in dark leafy greens that could be really helpful for protecting our DNA from getting damaged and therefore possibly reducing the speed at which we age. Because these help protect our DNA, it in theory could also help with longevity and the factors that make us feel and appear more youthful as well. It's also also helpful that these compounds are also low glycemic load. Okay, the sixth is using collagen. Now, this was another one that was not specifically used in the pilot study, but there's a lot of great research around it. Collagen is a type of incomplete protein that we make within our body, but we also can get from food. And collagen is used for our skin, our nails, our bone, pretty much every single thing within our body. And a review of the studies on collagen found that collagen could be helpful for reducing skin aging. There's also some research around collagen and joint health and how it could help to improve joint health, which is obviously a really important factor for making sure that we age gracefully too. Okay, the seventh is a minimum of 30 minutes of exercise per day. But there are also upper limits because excessive exercise could actually lead to more further DNA damage. We want to find that sweet spot. Now, unless you're a really serious competitive athlete, you're probably nowhere close to that upper threshold of exercise that could be causing damage, but it's just important to note that it's not always a more is more mentality around exercise. Too little isn't good, but also too much isn't good either. Now, this 30 minutes of exercise was used within the pilot study, but also specifically strength and resistance exercise should be factored into this 30 minutes because both strength and resistance training have been found to increase our mitochondrial function, which mitochondria are energy powerhouses within our cells. So by incorporating strength and resistance training, it could help us to be better at creating energy too. And one huge marker of aging is sarcopenia, which is the loss of both muscle and strength. This can lead to increased risk of hip fractures or just falling in general, which then just drastically reduces our quality of life. So improving muscle mass with strength training or resistance training can really be helpful for that. Okay, number 8 is a balance focus on exercise. Loss of a sense of balance as well as a loss of muscle is really tied to aging. When we lose our sense of balance, it also increases our risk of things like falling or hip fractures, which then can accelerate aging. So adding in balance focused exercise can help to improve your overall balance as well. And it's really easy to do this. You could literally just even stand on one leg and then switch sides to focus on your balance, or add in more complex moves like a single leg deadlift. Now, obviously, if you need help, this is one where you might want to ask a trainer for help with this because balance exercise can be a little bit more complex. Okay, the 9th is twice daily breathing exercises. Again, this is one that was added into that pilot study. Stress is a really well-known risk factor for DNA damage and therefore accelerated aging. But adding in breathing exercises a couple times per day can really drastically reduce our stress level. Especially when you focus on deep breathing, it helps to stimulate our vagus nerve, which can take our body out of that fight or flight mode and into rest and repair. So whenever you even just get the thought, try and remember to do some deep breathing exercises to add in just a level of de-stressor for the day. Okay, the 10th is a minimum of 7 hours of sleep. I think we all notice the differences in our energy levels, the way we appear, the way our skin looks when we don't get good sleep. This is probably the one that you can see the most immediate change in how we look, how we feel just by getting more sleep, which means we actually have to make time for getting in that adequate sleep, going to bed a little bit earlier, turning off the TV a little bit earlier as well so we can get high quality deep sleep. I personally also like to take a magnesium supplement so that I can help to improve my quality of sleep as well. Now, if you do want to use intermittent fasting to help with your wellness goals, it's really important that you break your fast the right way. Otherwise, you could just completely reverse a lot of those benefits. So you can check out one of my favorite ways to break a fast with this video next. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love this science-backed information, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video.